The wind howled over the cliffs of Virilia as a silver-scaled dragon struggled to lift itself into the sky. Krylox's wings trembled under his weight, shaking with every attempt to soar. He had tried for years to join the other dragons to prove he belonged, but the stronger, darker-scaled dragons only laughed. They called him weak, useless, and cursed. Each time he fell, his pride ached more than his body. The cliffs below were jagged and sharp, and a single mistake could end his life. Krylox crouched on a rocky ledge trying to catch his breath. His chest burned and a dull ache ran through his wings. Even the smallest gust of wind felt like it mocked him. He watched as the other dragons glided effortlessly across the sky, their shadows long on the human villages far below. They were warriors, feared by humans and respected by their own kind. Krylox, though, was invisible, a mistake among his own people. Far below, in the settlement at the edge of the Dragonlands, a boy named Talon worked quietly in a small garden. His clothes were simple, patched in several places, and his hands were dirty from the soil. The villagers often mocked him, calling him small and weak. Talon had no skill in farming, fighting, or hunting, the things that made humans survive on this harsh planet. The only thing he had that mattered to him was the necklace his mother had left him. It was a small crystal, glowing faintly in the sunlight. He wore it every day though no one seemed to notice it. That night, as a meteor storm streaked across the dark sky, Krylox tried again to fly. The wind whipped against his wings and he felt his strength fail. A sudden gust knocked him off balance and he tumbled toward the forest near Talon's home. He crashed into the trees with a loud roar, branches snapping under his weight. Pain shot through him and for a moment he thought he would never move again. Talon, who had been watching the meteors from his small window, saw a strange silver shape fall among the trees. His necklace pulsed softly, glowing brighter than it had ever glowed before. Something inside him whispered, urging him to run. Heart pounding, he grabbed a small lantern and ran toward the forest. The light from his necklace guided him, faintly illuminating the path between the trees. When Talon reached the clearing, he froze. Krylox lay on the ground, his scales shimmering in the lantern light, wings bent awkwardly and eyes filled with pain. The dragon growled softly, warning him to stay away, but Talon's hand reached out instinctively. His necklace pulsed in response, warm and gentle against his skin. A soft voice echoed in his mind, "Friend." Talon blinked. He was sure he had imagined it. But when he touched the glowing crystal, he heard it again, clearer this time. "Friend. Trust." The boy looked at the dragon and for the first time he saw not a fearsome beast, but a creature as scared and alone as he was. Slowly, Talon approached, keeping his lantern between them. Krylox growled but did not attack. He could feel something in the boy, something different from all humans he had seen before. Calm, steady courage. Not the fear or greed that often came from human hearts, but patience and kindness. Krylox had no choice but to allow him closer. Talon knelt beside Krylox, examining the dragon's broken wing. He could see the thin, fragile bones that bent at impossible angles. Using strips of cloth from his clothes, he carefully wrapped the wing, whispering softly to calm the dragon. The crystal on his necklace glowed brighter with every word, sending warmth into Krylox's scales. The dragon relaxed slightly, leaning into the gentle touch. "You're not like the others," Talon said quietly. "They don't understand you, but I do." Krylox tilted his head, surprised at the human's bold words. The glow from the necklace bathed the clearing in silver light, and for the first time in years, Krylox felt a spark of hope. Hours passed. The storm moved on, leaving a soft drizzle over the forest. Talon shared the little food he had brought, and Krylox ate slowly, watching him with cautious curiosity. The boy's calmness, his small acts of care, were changing something in Krylox. He realized he didn't have to fight to prove himself. Maybe, just maybe, he could belong somewhere without being the strongest. Night deepened and the forest grew quiet. Talon leaned back against a tree, exhausted but unwilling to leave. Krylox lay beside him, his enormous head resting on the ground, eyes half closed. The dragon's breathing slowed, the tension leaving his muscles. The crystal pulsed steadily on Talon's chest, a soft heartbeat of connection between them. "You're not unwanted," Talon whispered. "Not to me. You're special." Krylox let out a low rumble almost like a sigh. The voice of the necklace whispered again in Talon's mind, "The bond chooses the brave." The boy's heart quickened. He didn't fully understand what it meant, but he felt a strange certainty. He and Krylox were connected now, bound by something more than fear or survival. As dawn broke, the first light of Virilia touched the clearing. Krylox raised his wings slightly, testing them. The movement was still awkward, but Talon's presence gave him courage. He knew the other dragons would not accept him, that humans might still fear him, but with the boy by his side, he felt a small spark of strength he had never known. For the first time, neither of them felt completely alone. The Unwanted Dragon and the Unchosen Boy, brought together by chance and a mysterious necklace, had begun a journey neither could yet imagine. And somewhere deep in the forest, the bond between them pulsed stronger than ever, ready to face the dangers of a world that had rejected them both. The wind shifted, carrying the scent of distant dragons and human villages. Krylox raised his head, eyes narrowing with determination. Talon, clutching the glowing crystal, whispered softly, "We'll face it together." The necklace shimmered, and the forest seemed to hum in response. Something had awakened, not just the dragon, not just the boy, but a connection that could change everything. And so, in the quiet of the early morning, the unlikely pair prepared for a world that was not yet ready for them, but that they would face anyway, side by side. Morning light filtered through the forest, soft and pale. Dew clung to the leaves as Krylox slowly shifted his injured wing. Pain still lingered, but it was no longer sharp. Talon woke with a start, his back stiff from sleeping against a tree. For a moment he forgot where he was. Then he saw the silver dragon beside him, breathing slowly, and remembered everything. The necklace on Talon's chest glowed faintly, warm against his skin. He touched it without thinking. A quiet feeling of calm filled his chest, like someone steadying his heart. Krylox opened one eye and watched the boy carefully. He expected fear. Humans usually screamed or ran. But Talon only smiled, tired and unsure, yet brave. Krylox tried to stand. His legs shook and he nearly fell. Talon rushed forward, placing both hands against the dragon's side. The moment he touched Krylox, the necklace flashed brighter. Krylox froze. Energy flowed through his body, gentle but strong. His legs steadied. Both of them felt it. Krylox pulled back slightly, surprised. He looked at the necklace, then at the boy. "What are you?" he asked, his voice low and rough, echoing inside Talon's mind instead of the air. Talon staggered back in shock. You spoke." "Yes," Krylox replied. "And you heard me." Talon nodded slowly. His hands trembled, but not from fear. "I think the necklace helps. It belonged to my mother. She said it would protect me." The necklace pulsed again and a clear voice spoke inside Talon's thoughts. "Come. Certain. Protection is only the beginning." Krylox felt the same words like a distant echo. He stared at the crystal, then at the boy. Dragons feared ancient objects. They carried power, and power always came with cost. Before either could speak again, a loud roar rolled across the forest. Krylox's body tensed instantly. His eyes widened. "Hunters," he warned. "Dragons." Talon's heart raced. He could hear heavy wing beats in the distance and trees snapping. Krylox tried to move, but his wing failed him. Panic rose in his chest. "We have to hide," Talon said quickly. "There is nowhere," Krylox replied. "They will smell me." The necklace burned warm against Talon's skin. Without thinking, he pressed his palm to it. The crystal flared with light, brighter than before. The air around them shimmered. The forest seemed to bend. Suddenly, sound faded. The roar passed overhead, close enough that Talon felt the wind. Shadows moved across the ground. Krylox held his breath. Talon squeezed his eyes shut. Moments passed. Then silence returned. Talon opened his eyes. The light faded. The forest looked the same, but the danger felt distant. Krylox stared at the boy in disbelief. "You hit us." "I didn't mean to," Talon said. "It just happened." The necklace spoke again. "When danger rises, courage answers." Krylox lowered his massive head, eyes filled with something unfamiliar. "Respect." They moved deeper into the forest after that, slow and careful. Talon helped Krylox walk, guiding him toward a rocky ravine hidden by thick vines. Inside it was dark and dry. Safe for now. As they rested, Krylox spoke of the dragon clans. Of how strength ruled everything. Of how his silver scales marked him as flawed. Dragons believed only the strong deserved the sky. Weak dragons were cast out or destroyed. "I was never meant to survive," Krylox said. "You should not risk your life for me." Talon shook his head. "They said the same about me." Krylox looked at him. "They said I would never matter," Talon continued. "But my mother believed in me. And now, so does this necklace." The crystal pulsed softly as if agreeing. Hours passed. Krylox's strength slowly returned. Talon brought water from a nearby stream. Each time he touched the dragon, the strange energy flowed again, steady and controlled. Krylox realized something important. The power did not come from the necklace alone. It came from the boy. As evening fell, voices echoed near the ravine. Human voices this time. Armed. Nervous. They said a silver dragon fell here, one voice said. If we kill it, the dragons will leave us alone. Talon's stomach twisted. Krylox growled low. The necklace flared sharply. A voice filled Talon's mind, stronger now. This is the moment. What moment? Talon whispered. The choosing. Fear and courage collided inside him. He stepped forward, placing himself between the ravine entrance and Krylox. The hunters entered, weapons raised. They froze when they saw the boy standing alone. Go home, Talon said, his voice shaking but firm. They laughed. Move aside, child. The necklace blazed. Light poured from it, wrapping around Talon like a shield. The hunters stumbled back, blinded and terrified. Krylox felt power surge through him, stronger than ever. He stood tall, wings spreading wide despite the pain. His silver scales shone like stars. The hunters fled, screaming. When silence returned, Talon collapsed to his knees, exhausted. Krylox caught him gently, lowering him to the ground. You chose, the necklace whispered. And so did he. Krylox looked down at the small human, unconscious but breathing. For the first time in his life, Krylox felt chosen too. As night covered the forest, the unwanted dragon watched over the unchosen boy. Somewhere beyond the trees, forces were already moving. Dragons. Humans. Fate itself. Neither of them knew it yet, but the world had just marked them both. And it would never see them the same way again. The sun rose pale over the forest, and Krylox stretched his wings carefully. The pain was less, but he still could not fly long distances. Talon sat beside him, cleaning the cuts on the dragon's silver scales. Each day they grew closer. Krylox learned to trust the boy, and Talon's courage grew with every moment he spent near the massive dragon. Krylox spoke quietly. We cannot stay here forever. The clans are looking for me. Voric will come. He will not forgive weakness. Talon nodded. Then we move. But where? The humans will not accept you either. The necklace pulsed suddenly, warm and bright. A voice echoed in Talon's mind, calm but firm. The path is hidden. Follow the heart of courage. Only together can you survive. Krylox tilted his head, listening to the invisible voice. He did not fully understand the human's crystal, but he trusted it. And he trusted Talon. They left the forest slowly, moving at night and hiding by day. Krylox stayed low, careful not to alert any patrols. Talon carried a small bag of food, water, and the glowing crystal, which seemed to sense danger before they even saw it. After 2 days, they reached the edge of the dragon warlord Voric's territory. The air smelled heavy with smoke and fear. Dragons patrolled constantly, looking for the silver dragon who had humiliated them before. Krylox's body tensed. His claws dug into the ground as he listened to the distant roars. They will find us, he whispered. Talon placed a hand on Krylox's neck. Then we hide. The necklace knows the way. The crystal pulsed, sending a warm vibration through Talon's arm and into Krylox's scales. They followed the subtle glow, moving through hidden paths, abandoned ruins, and deep canyons. Krylox felt something he had never felt before. Hope. Even in danger there was hope. One night, near a cliff above a dark river, Krylox and Talon heard whispers on the wind. Humans, armed with spears and strange devices, were hunting dragons. Krylox growled low. Talon's necklace flared, warning him. Prepare, the crystal said. But do not strike first. Let courage guide you. Krylox's eyes glowed faintly in the darkness. He flexed his wings, ready to defend, but he waited for the boy's signal. Talon stepped forward, holding the crystal to his chest. His heart pounded, but his voice was steady. Leave this place. There is no fight here. Only danger for yourselves. The humans laughed, thinking a small boy could not threaten a dragon. Then the crystal blazed with light, sudden and fierce. It spread around them like a wall, bending the shadows and making the forest shimmer. The humans staggered back, shielding their eyes. Krylox roared, and the sound carried like thunder. Fear spread through the intruders. They had expected an easy hunt, but instead, they faced a power they could not understand. After the humans fled, Krylox lowered his head. What is this magic? He asked. Talon shook, exhausted. I don't know. The necklace, it listens to me. I think it protects us. It responds to courage. Krylox looked at him carefully. Courage? Humans are small, fragile creatures. How can you create this force? Talon smiled faintly. Maybe it's not just me. Maybe it's what happens when we work together. You and I. We help each other. That's the power. They continued their journey, traveling deeper into dangerous lands. Krylox hunted small animals to eat, while Talon collected water from streams. Every night, they camped in caves or beneath fallen trees. They learned to read the forest together. Krylox's hearing and smell were sharp, while Talon's knowledge of the human settlements and hidden paths kept them safe. One day, Krylox stopped suddenly near a canyon. "The dragon core is close," he whispered. His scales shimmered with faint energy. "It is ancient. It gives dragons great strength, but only if a human guides it safely. If the wrong one touches it, it destroys everything." Talon touched the necklace, which pulsed in agreement. "Then it chose me," he said softly. Krylox nodded. "Then you must be brave. I must trust you completely. And I must survive to protect you too." They moved together toward the ruins, unaware that Voric spies had already seen them. Word of Krylox's survival and the mysterious boy spread fast among the dragon clans. Voric was furious. He gathered a fleet of dragons, preparing to hunt Krylox and the human relentlessly. He could not allow a weak, silver dragon to show the clans that strength came in forms he could not control. Meanwhile, the humans near the war zones were uneasy. Stories of a silver dragon and a boy glowing with a strange light reached them. Some believed it was a curse. Others whispered of a miracle. Yet no one dared to approach. Krylox and Talon moved unseen, watched only by shadows and the whispers of the forest. One night, Krylox whispered to Talon, "We are hunted by all sides. Dragons, humans, even fate itself." Talon held the necklace, feeling its warmth. "Then we survive. We hide. And when the time comes, we fight, not with anger but with courage." Krylox's wings flexed as he rose slightly off the ground. He could feel the energy from the necklace spreading into him. He realized something new. The boy's courage made him stronger. Not physically but in spirit. The bond between them created a force neither dragon nor human alone could wield. In the distance, the skies darkened as Voric's fleet of dragons moved closer. They had been watching, waiting for the right moment. Krylox and Talon were not yet ready, but they had no choice. The unseen war had already begun. The forest seemed to hold its breath. Every shadow, every rustle of leaves, every distant roar was part of a battle neither side had started openly. Krylox and Talon crouched together, feeling the tension, the weight of what was coming. The necklace glowed softly, almost like a heartbeat. "Trust the bond," it whispered. "Together you are stronger than all they know." Krylox lowered his head, nuzzling Talon gently. "Then we face it together," he said. And so, in the quiet dark before the coming storm, the Unchosen Boy and the Unwanted Dragon prepared for a war that the galaxy did not yet see, but that would change everything once it began. The unseen war had started, and neither dragons nor humans were ready for the courage that was growing quietly in a small boy and a silver dragon. The ruins lay ahead, hidden deep in a canyon that twisted like a serpent. Krylox's wings itched to fly, but he moved slowly, careful not to strain his injured muscles. Talon's small feet crunched on rocks as he followed, his glowing necklace lighting their path in the growing dusk. The forest and cliffs behind them were quiet now, but both knew it was only temporary. Voric's fleet of dragons would be close. The dragon core waited in the center of the ruins, a massive structure of stone and glowing crystal. It pulsed with power, almost alive, humming through the ground and air alike. Krylox stopped at the edge of the chamber. The energy washed over him and his scales shimmered unnaturally. His eyes widened. "I have never felt power like this," he said, low and cautious. Talon stepped forward. The necklace pulsed, responding to the core. "It's calling me," he whispered. His voice shook, but there was determination in his tone. "It knows me, maybe it chose me." The air around them vibrated. Sparks of light danced on the stone walls, and the shadows seemed to stretch toward Krylox and the boy. Krylox lowered his head, wary. "This is dangerous," he warned. "Dragons die here if they are not ready. Humans even faster." Talon took a deep breath and touched the crystal necklace. The glow flared, warm and steady. "I trust it," he said. "I trust you." The core's energy reacted instantly. Light surged through Krylox's body, moving like rivers through his scales. Pain shot through him at first, sharp and blinding. Then it shifted, replaced by strength. Wings stretched wider, muscles grew taut, and the silver scales began to shine brighter than any dragon had before. Krylox roared, but it was not a cry of pain. It was a roar of power, of life, of awakening. Talon felt the energy too. It flowed through him as a hum in his chest, warm and alive. The necklace pulsed in harmony as if it were part of the core itself. He realized something: the dragon's strength came from him. His courage, his calm heart, his willingness to face danger without hatred, these things were feeding Krylox's power. Suddenly the ruins shook. Shadows twisted in the corners of the chamber, dark shapes moving fast. Voric scouts had followed them, dragons with black and red scales, eyes glowing with malice. They circled the ruins ready to attack. Krylox's massive head swiveled, silver eyes glowing. We cannot fight like this. Too many of them. Too strong. Talon gripped the necklace, feeling the core's hum and the dragon's power together. Then we don't fight like them, he said softly. We fight like us. Together. The necklace flared, brighter than the core itself, surrounding the boy and the dragon in a protective barrier of light. The first attackers swooped down, claws and teeth ready, but the light repelled them. They shrieked in surprise, unable to touch Krylox or Talon. The other dragons hesitated, sensing the core's energy flowing through the silver dragon and the human. Krylox roared again, this time with control. He leaped into the air, wings strong and wide. The core's energy followed him, trailing in streams of silver light. He moved with speed no dragon of his size should have had, deflecting attacks, dodging strikes, and creating shockwaves that knocked enemies off balance. Talon shouted instructions, his small voice carrying more authority than any soldier's command. Left. Now hold it. Each command synchronized with the core's energy. Krylox obeyed instinctively, faster and stronger with each moment. The Unchosen Boy guided the Unwanted Dragon like a conductor with an orchestra of destruction, but without anger or hate, only courage and focus. The attackers faltered. Voric scouts could not believe their eyes. A silver dragon, weak and cursed in their eyes, now moved with impossible power. And the boy, tiny human, untrained, was the one guiding it. Their own rules of strength and fear crumbled. The battle lasted hours and minutes, the core's energy amplifying both dragon and boy. Krylox struck with precision, not to kill but to disable. Every strike, every movement, reflected Talon's careful guidance and calm heart. The hunters and rogue dragons fled, unable to comprehend what they faced. When the last attacker had gone, the ruins were quiet again. Krylox landed beside Talon, both breathing heavily. His scales glowed softly, reflecting the core's fading pulse. Talon's necklace dimmed to a gentle glow, but the warmth in his chest remained. You are stronger than any dragon, Krylox said, still in awe. Stronger than anyone I have ever seen. Talon smiled faintly. We are stronger together. You and I. That's why the core accepted us. Krylox lowered his head and nudged the boy gently. I trusted many dragons before. Most were cruel. Some kind. But never like this. Never like you. The core pulsed once more as if approving. Its light flowed through Krylox and Talon, sealing their bond. Krylox understood then that this bond was not just strength, it was trust, courage, and understanding. Something no war or weapon could destroy. As they rested, Krylox spread his wings slowly, testing them. They felt strong, powerful, yet under control. The silver scales shimmered with energy, a light the galaxy had never seen before. He realized the core had awakened not just his body but his potential, and only Talon could guide it safely. Talon touched the necklace. We did it, he whispered. We survived it, together. Krylox lowered his massive head. And now we are ready. Ready for what comes next. Far above, the sky darkened with approaching shadows. Voric's fleet had not given up. He would return stronger and more furious. But now Krylox and Talon were ready too. Not just with strength, but with courage and trust that could not be measured by muscle or fire alone. The dragon core's light faded into the ruins, leaving the boy and dragon glowing faintly in its afterglow. They had awakened a power that no one could challenge easily. But more than power, they had awakened a truth. The universe underestimated humans, underestimated courage, underestimated the bonds that could change everything. Krylox looked down at Talon. The core is ours, he said quietly. And together, nothing can stop us. Talon held the necklace close. Then we face the world. Not for revenge. Not for war. But for what is right. Together. And in the heart of the ruins, with the wind whispering across ancient stones, the Unchosen Boy and the Unwanted Dragon realized something greater than any enemy could understand. Their courage, their bond, and their trust in each other had awakened a power that could reshape the galaxy. The unseen war was no longer hidden. It had begun, and the awakening of power was only the first step. The sky above Virilia burned with color as dawn broke, casting long shadows across the cliffs and forests. Krylox stretched his mighty wings, feeling every fiber pulsing with the energy of the dragon core. The silver scales on his body gleamed in the sunlight, brighter than any dragon in memory. Beside him, Talon clutched the glowing crystal necklace, steady and calm despite the tension in the air. The human settlements below were waking, unaware of what had changed overnight. Rumors of a silver dragon, guided by a glowing boy, had spread like wildfire. Some humans feared him. Some hoped. Yet none had seen what they were about to witness. Krylox lowered his head to Talon. The clans will come. Voric will lead them. He will not accept mercy. Talon's eyes hardened. Then we show them another way. We don't fight for fear. We fight for courage. For trust. From the horizon, black shadows approached. Voric and his fleet of dragons cut across the sky, their scales glinting like knives. They circled menacingly, claws and teeth ready. Humans below trembled at the sight, unsure if they should flee or hide. Krylox roared, but it was different this time. It was not a roar of challenge. It was a roar that carried strength and calm, a sound that shook the clouds but did not terrify the innocent. The silver light of the core pulsed through his scales, amplified by Talon's steady heart and glowing necklace. Voric landed heavily, shaking the ground with his massive frame. Krylox, he bellowed. You dare show your face, weakling? You are cursed. And you brought a human to guide you? Laughable. Talon stepped forward, holding the necklace high. I am not here to fight the weak or the strong. I am here to show the truth. The necklace pulsed brightly. Light spread across the cliff edge, bathing Krylox and Talon in silver warmth. Other dragons approached, curious and cautious. They had heard of Krylox's feats at the dragon core and were unsure what to expect. Voric sneered. A human will not change anything. You are nothing without strength. Talon's voice was calm, but it carried more power than any roar. Strength is not only muscle or fire. Strength is courage. It is trust. It is protecting those you care for. That is why Krylox stands here and why I stand with him. We are stronger together. The other dragons shifted uneasily. They had never heard words like these in a challenge. Their eyes, sharp and calculating, reflected doubt. Humans below stopped running, sensing something impossible in the air. Krylox stepped closer to Talon. Do you trust me? He asked. Always, Talon replied. The necklace glowed, sending warmth and light into Krylox. He lifted his wings and spread them wide. The silver scales flashed, reflecting sunlight into the eyes of every dragon and human watching. Energy flowed from the dragon core still within him, but now it moved with control, guided by the boy's courage. Voric's mouth opened to shout, but no words came. Krylox lifted off, circling the cliff with Talon safely on his back. Every movement was precise, powerful and confident. He did not strike at his enemies, but the air around him shimmered with invisible force. The other dragons watched, amazed. The humans stared, mouths open. They had expected destruction. Instead they saw mastery and trust. Krylox's movements, guided by Talon, created barriers, illusions and bursts of light that prevented attacks without harming anyone. Every strike, every motion showed that power could come from courage and bond, not hate. Voric roared in frustration. This is impossible. He cannot be stronger than me. You underestimate the bond, Talon said softly. Humans are not weak. Dragons are not alone. Strength is more than fire and teeth. The other dragons began to murmur among themselves. Some landed nearby, curious, watching Krylox and Talon work together. They realized their prejudice had been wrong. Silver scales were not a curse. Weakness was not shame. Courage and trust created strength that surpassed any warlord's expectations. Voric's fleet faltered, confused. His confidence cracked as he saw dragons lowering their wings, humans staring in awe. Krylox landed lightly on the cliff, Talon stepping off. The necklace's glow dimmed slightly, but its warmth remained. Krylox spoke to the gathered dragons. Strength is not only fire, not only claws. Strength is protecting life, respecting others, and having the courage to stand with those weaker than yourself. I was unwanted, cursed even, but now I know my purpose. And this human beside me showed me the way. The dragons were silent. Some bowed their heads, not out of fear, but in understanding. The humans cheered softly, sensing the change in the air. Krylox's eyes, bright and confident, swept across the horizon. Voric stared, fury and disbelief clashing on his face. Talon stepped forward. You cannot define strength with violence alone. You cannot claim it with fear. Strength is in courage. Strength is in trust. And the universe has just taught us all that lesson. The wind carried his words far across mountains and forests. Krylox's wings glimmered in the sunlight as he took off once more, circling above the humans and dragons alike. For the first time, the boy and the dragon were no longer small, no longer unwanted. They had shown the galaxy a new kind of power, one that came from heart and bond, not muscle and fear. Voric retreated, knowing he had lost, not to force but to truth. Other dragons approached Krylox, curious and respectful. The humans came closer, no longer fearful, inspired by the bravery of one boy and one dragon. Talon held his necklace close, feeling its gentle pulse. "We did it," he whispered. Krylox lowered his head beside him. "We did it together." The humans began to rebuild trust with dragons, inspired by the bond they had witnessed. Dragons began to see humans not as weak creatures, but as beings capable of courage and strength no one had expected. The old rules of fear and power were shattered in a single moment of trust. As the sun climbed higher, Krylox and Talon looked out over the lands. The sky was wide and open. Freedom stretched before them. And in that light they realized something deeper. Strength is not measured by how many you can fight or kill, but by how many you can inspire. How many you can protect. How much courage you can share. The necklace pulsed softly, a reminder that their bond would never break. Krylox nudged the boy gently. "We changed everything," he said. Talon smiled, small but bright. "Yes. Together we did. Humans, dragons, the galaxy will never see us the same way again." And so, on that day, the Unchosen Boy and the Unwanted Dragon became legends. Not because of fire or claws, but because they showed the universe a truth older than war. Courage, trust, and heart redefined strength more than anything else. The sky was no longer a battlefield, but a place of possibility. Krylox soared high, Talon safe on his back, the necklace glowing gently in the sunlight. Together they had redefined what it meant to be strong. And the galaxy would remember them forever.